Thank you, Emma. That was very heartwarming, very touching. And thank all of you for this great honor. I'm not entirely sure what I did to deserve it, but for whatever it is, I apologize. I thought I made it clear that this was my worst nightmare, but here I am. So thank you again. But in a slightly more serious tone, I am honored to be up here speaking to you on such an important day in our year. I do not take this lightly, and I am incredibly humbled by the honor. I'm also aware that this is probably just a byproduct of the fact that I taught 3/4 of the junior class for English this year, so thank you again. We built this year around a theme that was very deceptively simple. It was 2 words, and it was simply stay gold. Now, those words were echoed in yesterday's gospel reading for the senior send-off, and we based it in the golden rule. But literary geeks like myself know that the term stay gold really came from S.E. Hinton in The Outsiders. It is Johnny's dying imperative to his best friend, Ponyboy, and the closest thing he has to a brother, where he tells him to stay gold in a world that makes it impossible to do so. So in a way, Johnny set Ponyboy up for failure. And in a way, we did the same thing to all of you by making that our main theme to follow throughout the year. But attaining perfection and attaining that gold status is not what matters in life. What matters is the journey and how you get there. What matters is that you are always striving for that gold standard. And that is what I hoped to impart to all of you in class this year, and what I hope to a lesser extent impart upon you today in my limited time. As an English teacher, what I typically do is I stand on the shoulders of giants. I find smarter people who have said what I'm trying to say in a far better way. And I can't think of any smarter person than Father James Martin, who's a Jesuit priest who has 3 main rules that I have sort of co-opted to help you stay gold. The first is, you are not God. This is important to remember because you cannot expect yourself to be perfect. You're going to fall. That's the only thing that I can promise you, is that at some point in your life you will fall. What's important is that you always fall forward. Always look to the future. Always look to make yourself better. And with that in mind, you need to give yourself a break from time to time. I know that we've built a culture here at Judge on academic and athletic excellence, and sometimes we fall just a little short, and that's okay, because we are human and we are broken by nature. We are an anxious species, and we experience moments of calm and moments of clarity. You have to enjoy those moments and cherish them. You're going to be stressed, and you have a right to be stressed. You have a right to screw up. But most importantly, you have a right to ask for help. You are expected to ask for help, and we are here when you need it. The second main point, so sorry to back up. The first is, you are not God. The second main point is, this is not heaven. So just like all of us are flawed and we accept our individual weaknesses, our peers are flawed as well. And when I say peers, I mean peers in the human race. I don't just mean your classmates. We, as your teachers, as your parents, as your coaches, we are flawed. And we need you to help us when we fall, just as often as you need us to help you. What you have to focus on doing is being there to catch your peers when we fall. We are all that we've got, and we have to make sure that we are there for each other. That kind of ties into the third rule, or the third suggestion, which is, don't be a jerk. To be human is to be co-human. We cannot do anything by ourselves, and we cannot expect anyone else to do anything on their own. So we have to make sure that we are always pushing each other forward. You know how it feels to be ignored. You know how it feels to be loved. Make your story a love story, particularly with the 1 year that you have left. Despite Miss Trentman's elaboration yesterday that senior year is going to feel like a bike ride up 6th South, I promise you, you will get to this time next year and you'll wonder how fast it went. You'll wonder about the moments that you lost. And with that in mind, I want to bid a farewell as well. Unfortunately, due to life circumstances, this is my only year here at Judge Memorial, and I am incredibly broken up about that. And that is specifically because of all of you. I have met students here this year, teaching the juniors primarily and some seniors, that I know I will never find a peer. I will never find a student to match many of you. And that is the most difficult part of today for me. I know that going forward, you will embrace each other in your struggle. And I know that your senior year will be a great one. But you have to make it that. You have to be the ones who make each other's senior year the best that you've had here. Speaking of struggle, I want to use words from one of your peers, one of your class, who beautifully summed it up far better than I ever could. She said, "To struggle is to be alive and to be human, and in that way, the struggle is beautiful." Please always remember, no matter how real the struggle gets, it is always a beautiful one. Our very nature dictates that we will struggle for the rest of our lives. And it is a beautiful struggle. But it is only that way if you are here for each other and you help each other through it. Finally, I want you to know that I have fully embraced the Judge way that Jack talked about. Jack, I thought that was very eloquently put. The Judge way is a way of love, and it is a way of support. And I want to make sure that you all know that you will be in my heart, and I will be praying for you for the next year and the 4 years after that, because I know that you will achieve great things. And I know that you will do well and not take your time for granted. Sometimes I worry that I took my time here for granted, that I took all of you for granted. Recently, I found myself wishing, begging, pleading that the days would last a little longer. Don't get me wrong, I don't want more school days. But I found myself wishing that each class would last a little bit more and that each day would go a little bit further. I'd give anything for one more year here at Judge, and I envy you that you have that. I'd give anything for one more month here at Judge. I wish that I had taken more time to cherish the small moments that we shared together. And I wish that I could go back and relive some of the greatest days of my teaching career. I am truly excited to hear about the great things that you all accomplish. And I want to thank you for allowing me to play some small role in your high school career. Thank you.